Does Bangkok actually have ladyboys? Do monks really take the bus? What the? They're not Amish. I get asked a lot of weird questions living here in Thailand and Southeast Asia. So we're going to go over some of the weirder ones that I've been asked in the last year. So you ready? Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Hey guys, JJ the Lonely Bull in Asia, just leaving my condo, heading for breakfast at O'Shea's. It's chilly this morning. It's a Saturday morning, lively. Hello, sawadee krap. But we're going to talk about some of the weird things I've been asked here on my channel as soon as we get to O'Shea's for breakfast. But I actually have jeans on today, and that's how chilly it is. So hang on, let's get to O'Shea's and then we'll talk. Okay, I just ordered my breakfast. Got a great breakfast here, Western breakfast. You can order 7 items for 199 baht. So I got 2 eggs, sausage, 2 slices of bacon, hash browns, mushrooms, fried potatoes or sauteed potatoes, and one other thing. I can't remember what it was. Oh, toast. And then I got coffee. It comes free with it, free drink with it, for 199 baht, which is about $6. So I'm just waiting for that. So let's get into this video. Over the last year, I've had some pretty strange questions asked, either in comments or through email, through my email. So I want to go through some of the ones and just kind of answer them and just have a little fun today. So you ready for that? All right, let's get started. First of all, this question, I'm not going to say who they're from, but does Bangkok actually have ladyboys? Yes, and the short answer is yes. They have a large transgender community. I read somewhere about 10% of Thailand population says that they're gay, some in one of those letters. That seems high until you go to the Philippines, and it's like 11 or 12%. So yes, they actually do have ladyboys. Sometimes it's hard to tell. The surgeries are so good here in Thailand that sometimes it's really difficult to tell. So you really have to be looking in some places. All right, question number 2. Oh, khap khun krab. Got my coffee. Question number 2, is Bangkok safe or will I get kidnapped? Bangkok's generally safe. I've never had an issue anytime walking in Bangkok. Now, I'm sure there's some areas in Bangkok that you probably shouldn't frequent, especially if you're a foreigner, a farang. But generally speaking, yeah, it's super safe. I've never had a problem with the locals. The only problem I've ever had was with the foreigners. Some of them can be kind of dicks, if you know what I mean. You know, as far as safe with people, you're okay. Now, safety in general, like traffic, if you're riding on a bike or the back of a bike, that could be problematic. So, you know, your biggest safety issue is probably crossing the street. Other than that, I think you're pretty good. All right, question number 3. Why is Bangkok called Bangkok if the real name is 168 syllables long? Yeah, it's the world's longest city name, for sure. If you want to be like the locals, just call it Krung Thep. That's the way they call it here in Bangkok, Krung Thep. Otherwise, just call it Bangkok or BKK. I mean, everybody answers to the same thing. So, but yeah, if you ever look it up, Google it, and you'll find out that it is a very long name for a city, the longest in the world. Question number 4. Do monks really take the bus? What the? They're not Amish. I mean, come on. Yes, they take the bus, they take the subway, the MRT, the Skyrail, the BTS. They take a lot of modes of transportation. Okay, finished my breakfast now. I'm on my way back to the condo, but I thought I'd stop here at Bistro M. It's a little coffee shop restaurant along the way, and get myself a cappuccino, iced cappuccino. But let's continue the countdown, okay? Number 5, is the red light district really as crazy as people say? Yes, it is. It's very crazy. It is not all encompassing of what Bangkok is, though. Contrary to popular belief, you have segments of the city that cater to this type of entertainment. You've got Sukhumvit Soi 4, which is where Nana Plaza is. You've got some other Sois along the way, like 771. You've got Soi Cowboy, famous. You've got Pat Pong. All those areas are pretty famous for their adult entertainment. So you've got those options. But it's not prevalent throughout the city. You can find a lot of places that don't have that. But I will tell you, it is crazy. It can get very crazy. And unlike Vegas, what happens in Bangkok doesn't necessarily stay in Bangkok, if you know what I mean. All right, number 6. Do tuk-tuk drivers always scam people? So I get this question a lot. And they have a bad reputation for scamming foreigners. It's true. If you come into Bangkok and you go up to a tuk-tuk driver and you have that deer in the headlight look and you look like a tourist, you're wearing the elephant pants and you've got the uniform, you're a target. So chances are they're going to try to scam you. Now, the typical scam is overcharging you for a ride, which isn't that big a deal when you come down to it. It's a few dollars more. Some of the more extravagant scams are the ones you'll see where the tuk-tuks are parked along Sukhumvit Road or maybe at some areas there by the temples and that. And they've got these big cardboard signs and they're offering these tours. Those are the ones that could possibly scam you for some pretty big bucks. So you just have to be aware of those things. But generally speaking, I would say the majority don't scam you unless you look the part. All right, number 7, is street food safe to eat? Yes, absolutely safe to eat. I've never had a problem eating street food here in Bangkok, ever. The key to it, I believe, and this is just from my observation, if you're in these street markets, these night markets where you have a lot of vendors, generally speaking, that's safe. If you're on a street that's not really in a tourist area, but you see a lot of street vendors, the ones that have a lot of people going up to their stall and buying food, generally speaking, those are probably safe. The ones that are just sitting there and it looks like they've been sitting there all day with the same hot dogs sitting out all day long, probably might want to avoid that. I'm just saying, okay? But generally speaking, street vending food is pretty safe and I've never had a problem with it. Bottom line is, if the line is long, you're pretty safe. If there's no line, congratulations, you're a test subject. All right, number 8, why are there so many stray dogs? All right, so that happens all over Southeast Asia. I see it everywhere. It's really bad in the Philippines, but it's also bad in Vietnam and also bad in certain areas here. You don't see a lot of them in the major tourist areas like along Sukhumvit, but there are feral dogs that you'll see. The key is to be careful when you're around them because you just don't know what kind of disease they might have. And the last thing you want to do is try to pet a feral dog and he bites you, and then you have to go to the hospital to figure out what you got, okay? So my advice is to Look at the dog, nice doggy, walk around it, give it plenty of room, and then you'll be fine. They're kind of the unofficial security guard in Bangkok. Okay, number 9, is it normal to see giant monitor lizards in parks? Yes, especially Lumpini Park. Lumpini Park is famous for their monitor lizards, and they range in size from about 1.5 feet long to upwards of close to 6 feet long, and everything in between. They look ominous, they look a little scary, but the key is if you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. All right, number 10, why is traffic so bad? Well, population density, rapid growth, creative driving techniques, I guess, would be one way to put it, I guess. A lot of the traffic rules are more like suggestions in Southeast Asia, and Bangkok is no exception to that rule. So just be careful when you're driving around, you're going to run into that traffic. Now, I will say that the infrastructure has done a good job keeping up. So you've got a lot of transportation options, like the trains and the buses and even the boat taxis on the river. So you got a lot of options. So you don't have to be pinned down by being in traffic and delaying where you want to go. You don't have to be there. You can hop on the back of a bike and get some point B really quick if you're daring enough. All right, number 11, can you really buy bugs to eat? Yes, absolutely. I suppose you can find bugs on the street and eat those, but I don't know if I'd want to do that. But yes, you can go to street vendors that actually, that's what they do. They sell bugs. Anything from little grubs to big grubs. I actually ate a big grub on a dare by a Thai girl. She dared me to eat her grub. She had 2 of them, and she shared with me. How nice was that? I ate it. Wasn't that impressed, but I can check it off my bucket list. But they've got everything from little grubs to big grubs to crickets to grasshoppers, all the way to scorpions and tarantulas and all of that. So if you want to get the exotic food like that, knock yourself out. All right, question number 12. Why is the air so humid? Well, we're in tropical climate. So Bangkok is right on the bay. So you've got the ocean right there. And so all that moist air comes up, and you don't have to be a meteorologist to figure that out. You're going to get a lot of humidity that goes along with the heat. Now, right now, it's great. Not a lot of humidity. It's cool temps, and we're in a great time of the season, great time of year here in the first month of the year, and it's fantastic. Now, when we get into March, April, May, and June, it's going to get very, very hot and humid. And it'll get over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're going to feel every % of that humidity. So just be prepared for it. In Bangkok, in those months, be prepared to take 2-3 showers a day and 2 or 3 changes of clothes a day. It's not uncommon. Okay, question 13. What's the deal with the giant shopping malls? So the neat thing about Bangkok, and most of Asia actually, the malls, they really go all out with these malls. Remember when we were kids and the mall was the place to go when we were young? It's not like that anymore in the US at least, and probably not in Europe. Malls have become a target for theft and just bad situations. Thugs have basically taken over malls. So malls are a thing of the past in the West, especially in the US. Here in Bangkok and here in Asia, not so much. They're awesome. They're big, they're beautiful, and they're air conditioned. So many people get in the malls just to get out of the heat. You'll see a lot of people in malls, but you won't see a lot of them carrying bags like they bought anything. The restaurants will be full, the coffee shops will be full, the retail places not so much. So, but the neat thing about it is every year Bangkok has a brand new mall that they open up, and it's really a neat thing to see, and you just got to experience it for yourself. Number 14, is bargaining normal? Yeah, it's pretty normal, especially with the street vendors or the street market, the night markets that sell merchandise, sell clothes and shoes and things like that. You can generally bargain with them. You know, the thing to do is lo dai mai. That's the thing to remember. Lo dai mai that's you asking for any discount. And usually, if they're willing, they'll tell you what the discount is. So I was with a friend the other day, and he got a bag, and they were asking 600 baht for it. And he was about ready to pay, and I said, lo dai mai. And she said 500. So he got 100 baht off. So that's like 20% off or something like that. So he got a pretty good deal. Now, I wouldn't really get into a back and forth negotiation, because then they'll just get pissed off at you and walk away, and you won't get anything. You know, ask once for a discount. If they give you the discount, go with it. I wouldn't go any farther. I wouldn't ask for any more. Another thing I probably wouldn't look for discounts is the food. It's pretty much what it is, you know, and you may or may not get the skin tax. You may get charged a little more because of you being a foreigner, but it's bahts. It's 20, 30 baht. So what are we talking about? 60, 80 cents. It's not that big a deal. So don't quibble over the price of street vendors' food. Another thing is, if you're buying a product from someone that you can obviously see that they made it by hand, I wouldn't ask for a discount. If they took the time to make it, then pay whatever they're asking if you want to get it. If you don't want to get it, just walk away. But if they're like knockoff brands, yeah, by all means, ask for the discount. Lo dai mai. All right, number 15. Why are there temples everywhere? You know, wats, or temples, here in Bangkok are like churches in the US. If you're in a southern town or a Midwest town specifically, it seems like there's a church in every neighborhood. It's kind of that way here in Bangkok. There's temples, there's even little small shrines everywhere. And what you'll see, the Buddhist locals, when they walk by, they'll do the Y at the temple or at the shrine as they're walking to or from work or wherever they're going. So they take a little bit of time to do that. So just look at it this way. They're beautiful. You know, you can't get into any church in the US. They lock their doors. Here, you can go into pretty much any temple and you'll be fine. And they're all beautiful. All right, number 16, is Bangkok really the world capital of massages? Yes, I think they are. I don't know, maybe it's official or unofficial, but yeah, there's massage places everywhere in Bangkok. Just where I was at for breakfast this morning at O'Shea's, there were 2 massage parlors right across the street, another one down the block, and let's see, one next door. There were probably 5 or 6 within 30 steps of each other. You see that everywhere. No matter where you go, you're going to see at least one massage parlor on every block. Now, what type of massage are you going to get? That's kind of up in the air. One rule of thumb that I use that I've noticed is that if the girls are sitting outside and when you walk by they say, you know, sawadee ka, massage, that's probably one that will give you that quote-unquote extra service, you know, the happy ending type thing. If they're indoors and you have to walk into the massage parlor and they're not outside trying to get you to come in, that's probably a legit massage place. So you've got both choices. You can do one or the other or both, depending on, you know, what trips your trigger, I guess. All right, question number 17. Why does everyone take off their shoes? Well, it's a cultural thing. And to be honest with you, I don't know why I wasn't doing it when I was living in the US. It makes sense, you know. Your shoes are dirty. You've been outside all day. Your shoes are filthy dirty. Why would you track them all over the place? So yeah, take your shoes off. It's a thing of respect. It's a religious thing because, you know, the head is the most sacred part of the body and the feet are the least sacred. So take your shoes off when you're in someone's house or at the temples especially. You know, if your feet stink, that's between you and Buddha, I guess. All right, question 18. Why is 7-Eleven such a big thing in Thailand? It's a huge thing. It's everywhere. I read somewhere that Thailand has more 7-Elevens than any other country in the world, and probably Bangkok more 7-Elevens than any city in the world, I would think. 7-Elevens are great. I've got 3 of them within a 3-minute walk from my condo. They're great for if you need something real quick, like I need to get some milk, or I need to get some water, or something to eat quick, or bathroom things. You can duck in there and get what you need. You don't necessarily have to go to the grocery store. Food's pretty good there. If you want to eat on the cheap, you can get a burger and warm it up, or have it warmed up for like 60 baht. You can get a Thai food for under 60 baht, sometimes as little as 39 baht for a decent Thai meal. But I wouldn't make a habit of using that for your everyday diet. But once in a while, if you're in a hurry or you don't have a lot of cash on you, just duck into a 7-Eleven in the morning, get one of those toasties. They're a little overrated, but everybody should try one at least once when you're in Bangkok. Go into the 7-Eleven, get a ham and cheese toasty, have them toast it for you right there. It's like 39, 40 baht, and it's like, hey, that's not bad. Pretty good, cheap breakfast. So check it out. 7-Elevens are awesome. They're lifesavers. All right, question 19. Is it rude to touch someone's head? So like I said before, yes, the head is considered sacred. So it's not a good idea, or not looked upon very well, if you touch someone's head. Now, if you're with your girlfriend, you're in your own room, in bed or whatever, that's probably not a big deal. But if you're in public, especially if you don't really know the person, that's probably a pretty big deal. A lot of people, they love little kids and they want to pat them on the head. Probably not a good idea. Touch someone's head and you might get Muay Thai by somebody's grandma if you're not careful. All right, last question. And make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't before, and then click that notification bell so you get notified when I post new videos. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, what you think about these, and if you have any other questions, we can start contributing questions for maybe a part 2 of this. So here we go. Question number 20. Why is public affection frowned upon, but everything else seems wild? Well, everything else in Soy Cowboy and Nana Plaza and Pat Pong, maybe that seems kind of wild, but that's a different kind of thing there. That's completely different. General public display of affection is generally not looked upon very positive. Now, holding hands, that's one thing. You see that a lot. That's not a big deal. Even a hug or a kiss, if they're boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife, just a smooch on the cheek or something, or a quick kiss on the lips, probably not a big deal. But if you overdo it, that's frowned upon, so you want to kind of avoid that. Save the passion for the bedroom, guys. That would be my advice to you. So there's my list. There's 20 questions, kind of weird and crazy questions that I've gotten over the last year living here in Bangkok. Again, let me know in the comments what you think. It's kind of fun video to do. I'll probably do another one down the road, but always having a good time here in Thailand and loving Bangkok. Hope you come and check it out soon. As always, live life, my friend. Sabai sabai, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.